Football is back, and so are we. Welcome to the new episode of Podcasts with Parsho, and I'm your host, Parsho Shah. And today with me, I have a really special guest, Vinay Dhareshwar, who is a media manager for a footballing academy in Mumbai. And welcome, Vinay. It's great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me on Parsha. And like you said, football is back, and I think everyone is excited.
Yeah, exactly. So, being a being a Chelsea fan, you told me before the shoot that you are a Chelsea fan. So, how does it feel that football is back and so is your favorite team in action?
I mean, if I could put it into words, it'll be really tough, but I'll try my best. I'd say that 100 days, no football for watching your team play, and I think that was the biggest part of lockdown where you had to like go and see other things. But I think watching your team play is like there's no other feeling in the world. It makes you cry, it makes you laugh, makes you feel absolutely everything. So I'm really happy to watch
Yes.
Chelsea back, and luckily we started with a win, so
Yeah,
that is.
that is amazing. Chelsea is back. Premier League is back. So today's topic of discussion will be the Premier League. So Liverpool surprisingly haven't won a Premier League. I mean, they have won 18 league titles, but the Premier League was a refurbished league system that came into existence in the 1992-93 season. And since then, Liverpool haven't won a single Premier League title. So they are on course to win their first title. There are 20 points clear at the top with 8 games to go. So basically, it's a no-brainer. We can say that they are the winners already. So what do you think? Why has Liverpool toppled every other top 6 team and made it to the top after such a long time?
I would say it's right starting off with when Jurgen Klopp came in. He came in with a plan to set up a proper team. And initially, when they started out, we could, of course, see, they were trying to build towards something. And in the initial years, it was really hard for them to actually make it out. And they were still, in the transition phase. Coming to the recent seasons, I would say that they have done absolutely brilliant with in terms of signings. They plugged the holes, with Van Dijk and Allison especially. Mainly they were weak defensively, which they covered up brilliantly. And now, like I would say, like to call Liverpool a complete team is it should be known. And I think I really have respect for them, and what they have done throughout this season. Oh man, they're like absolutely brilliant. So they have goals, they can keep clean sheets, and they have a very good team dynamic happening as well. And they always have that urge when you see if they go a goal down, we've seen them come back and they literally claw at tackles, and that happened even when they were closer to winning as well. They did that very often. So I would say that they have found that formula right of having, that perfect team balance where even Klopp as a manager seems to come off as a great man manager. He has that knack where he's, when should he act like a coach, when should he act like a friend, and
Yes.
especially so overall brilliant. And I think they have managed to do that, and it started off with the Champions League. So
Yeah.
I think you can't
Yes.
start with a better thing after a very long time. So yeah, so now they deserve it right now.
Absolutely. They made it two Champions League finals in 2 years. They lost in 2018 to, of course, Real Madrid, and they won in 2019. So they had to reach the pinnacle someday because of Jurgen Klopp's managing skills and the sort of team they have assembled. But it's not the same for other Premier League sides. The sides that you would normally consider, Tottenham Hotspur, who have been challenging for the top four consistently. They have played Champions League year in year out over the past 6 to 7 years, and they even ended runners up against Liverpool in the 2019 Champions League final. And Arsenal, they are at 10th position in the table as of 22nd June. So what has happened to those two teams this season? What has been wrong with them?
That's a great question, and I will not just speak from a viewpoint of Chelsea as Arsenal and Spurs being one of our London rivals and stuff.
Yeah.
But going on with the main thing, I think all three teams, I'll speak about Arsenal and Spurs, but starting with them, I would say that, it started off with transition phase. Right from when they, from a few years back, Spurs started with their. I really, really liked the way I liked Pochettino as a manager, like from a footballing perspective, obviously. He was really great. Actually, I don't know what went wrong amongst them, what happened. But they always seem like Spurs, especially, seem like a team which are always that one step short of, the finishing line, always. So I would say that it is very hard in the transition phase. So I would say Spurs are still very far from that, even though they have signed they have got someone like Mourinho back at the helm right now. And I would say that they have a long way to go yet, because I still see too many holes and, stuff like that in that team. So coming to Arsenal, I would say that, again, another team in transition, where you see, someone like Arsene Wenger, who had formed that, and they are also, it's been shocking, especially with the news coming around that Arteta had a great spell under Pep Guardiola, right? He got an experience done a lot. Yeah. So when he did come, to take up the first team role is completely different from being an assistant manager, because you have a lot of things on your plate. And I think it's not his fault when he came in, but like they say, a club to function needs to function smoothly right from top to the bottom. So the entire tree should be entire funnel should be, on point. Everybody communicating. There's no bad influences of players, or, there's no enmity between people inside the club, because you can see that on the pitch. And again, I really don't, I think that's where the main concern comes, where there is no structure in either team, Spurs or Arsenal right now, which they have to work on, especially.
Right. So David Luiz, as you know, ex-Chelsea player, had 2 stints with your favorite club. He was great in his second spell as well. He did not give away a single penalty last season, but this season he has already given away 4 penalties. So being a part of your club's history, David Luiz, does it feel bad with the phase he's going through? Because he has, let's just accept that he has never been known for his astute defending. It's just because of his skills on the ball that he has that added advantage, and that makes him somewhat special. But the way he has been playing, it has been lackluster, and he is delivering bad performance after bad performance. So what exactly has gone wrong with him?
That's a very interesting thing to look into, and I can start it back, sit around and let me tell you a story kind of thing. Right at the start in 2011, when he did come to Chelsea, it was his first spell, and I still remember in the first few games, and for quite a few games, you could see his dynamism, you could see his excitement, you could see him being all over the pitch, putting in tackles, winning headers, scoring goals, and screamers, not just this. But that year in 2014, when he was heading to PSG, I think that was the time when you could. It was starting to become evident that his defending abilities, like you said, they started becoming much more of a highlight. He started making much more errors, and it became much more evident and especially when he came back to Chelsea. In that season, when he came back to Chelsea, even it was so different to see him play. We were happy about him, him coming back, but we could see him that his ability to ping the ball, across and give those cross diagonals, and that came across. But we just exactly saw in the recent Arsenal match, the mistake he made, those sort of mistakes started happening more often than not. See, he's 33 now. He's not getting any younger.
Yeah.
It's just, honestly, I don't like to hate on players, but when I see such things, I feel really bad. And I think that, at the top level, I think his time is, slowly fading away. And I would say, that
Continuing with Chelsea, they've had a new manager as well, Frank Lampard, a legend of your club, probably the best player in your history, according to me.
Yeah.
And he has been great as a manager. Like I tracked his managing at Derby County, and he brought a few players with him, like Mason Mount, and I don't remember the other player, but Mason Mount I do remember, and
Tomori.
he has been
Because
great. Yeah, Fikayo Tomori. So he has been great managing, and it is surprising that someone who hasn't had any experience in coaching in the top tier has done so well. And what do you think? What are your impressions about Frank Lampard?
Super Frankie Lampard. That's what we have to solve. I'd say that, like you mentioned, one of the best goal scoring midfielders out there in world football, and
Yeah,
also when during his playing days, you could see his intelligence was very, very, it was noticeable. His intelligence, that timing of when to arrive in the box, when to stay back, technically, tactically, absolutely brilliant. And I think the best
yes,
part, like you mentioned, when he was in Derby County, it was his first year in management, and they were playing brilliant football. Like, I would say that they were playing
yeah,
brilliant football. For someone, say, for a first year as a professional manager, to get that there, and he also, of course, had this thing with him, like, he had Mason Mount from, our academy, and so did Tomori. But, it was like a really brilliant way he bought it, even though in the end it didn't turn out how it was supposed to.
yeah,
Him coming to Chelsea was one of the biggest boosts he had. The best part about Lampard is, since he has a philosophy of this high press, high intensity. So I would say it's really
exactly.
exciting. And like I said, it's transition phase again, and got to be patient, man. Like, it's not as easy as it goes on Twitter and anywhere on social media.
So the success stories of this season would not be Liverpool. I mean, they would be, but they have to be Sheffield United, who have been promoted this season, and Wolverhampton Wanderers, who have been performing well for the last 2 seasons. And to be very honest, Wolves is my favorite Premier League team. So they do not get as much. They are not in the spotlight as much as the other teams are, but they have performed brilliantly this season. So what do you think about them? And a quick question, who will finish in the top 6 this season?
All the okay. So starting off with Wolves, like you mentioned, brilliant team, and I honestly, like, it's one of the best teams to watch in the PL right now. Like, one of the best. If you see the structure of any team or the success of any team, they have to be able to defend well. They have to be able
Yeah,
to score goals, and also, like, control matches, which Wolves have done so brilliantly, especially against the top six sides which they came
yeah,
across.
yeah.
Don't sit back when they come against big teams. They will give you a run for the money. Like, we'll give you a run for the money. We'll come at you. We'll make you defend. Like, we don't. It doesn't
Yes.
matter which team you are, whether you're in the top half or the bottom half. We are going to attack you, and we are going to defend as well. So, I'd say Bulls are brilliant. Mentioning, like, even Sheffield, like, to mention someone like Sheffield United, what Chris Wilder has done, and standout has to be like the entire team, but someone like Lundstrom. But I would say overall, a team like Sheffield, you wouldn't expect them to perform this way. But I think when it comes to finishing in the top six, I think it will be Wolves. The reason being because in terms of depth and quality, they seem to edge off.
Okay, that's great because I share the same opinion because I am biased towards Wolves being my favorite Premier League team. So before we conclude this video, I have just one last question to ask you. Premier League, as you know, over the years, it has always delivered world-class players, elite players, Ballon d'Or contender type players. There are a lot of teenagers right now. So who do you think? Who are the best young players in the Premier League right now, and who can create a name for themselves in the history of football?
Wow, that's a very interesting question, and especially being a Chelsea fan, I would have to mention the Chelsea Academy. If you're saying young players, I would think that it would be 21 or 22 and under. Like, what is
Yeah,
the criteria?
yeah,
So,
under 23.
because yeah, coming to the point, I'd say someone like Billy Gilmore, who's 19. Billy
Yeah,
Gilmore, then Tammy Abraham, then Mount, Mason Mount, Cho, Callum Hudson-Odoi, James. From Chelsea, I'd say James, especially, I would say stand out. Reece James, right back, puts crosses as good as Ta and KDB. I think he'll be just under them when it comes to crossing.
yeah,
Even his defensive ability and pace is brilliant. So I would say them. From Manchester City, I would say Phil Foden. What a player.
oh,
And coming to Liverpool, I'd say Alexander Arnold. I think nobody can question that pick. I had heard mentions of Harvey Elliott as well
yeah,
from Liverpool because I think I'd seen him perform in a cup game. And he was, again, like I said, like it's so important that your team setup is good to push you to that next level. From Arsenal as well, Saka, like he's absolutely brilliant. And one important, not a very expected pick, would be Max Aarons from Norwich, because he's just 20. And I think he's going to be picked up soon by one of the top half clubs, I'd say, if not top six. He's brilliant. So these are the standout picks, I'd say. And one may be Justin from Leicester, if that is a thing, who's playing right back right now. Pereira is injured. So yeah, I'd say these are the teams. And like you mentioned, man, like so much talent throughout.
So thanks a lot, Vinay, for being a part of this episode. It was great talking to you about Premier League. I personally don't follow Premier League so much, so it was great to talk about it and get to know about the Premier League from a Premier League fan's perspective. So that's it for this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, you can put them in the comment section down below. And I will be back soon with another podcast with Pasha. And take care of yourselves and have a nice day. Thank you very much.